Okay, folks, we are live. Chuck Holton here, and I am watching the Tzofar app here on my screen. You can see that it is on between Israel and Lebanon right now. There are rockets flying both directions. The IAF has been mercilessly pounding the southern part of Lebanon over the last day. Hezbollah is firing munitions back as fast as they can, and about as fast as they can fire them, the IAF manages to take them out. Now, as you probably know, I cannot show you the videos that are coming out that show the results of these strikes because YouTube will demonetize the video almost immediately. Rather than show them to you on YouTube, I've been putting them up over on chuckholton.com. You can go to chuckholton.com. You can see videos right now of the results of what the IAF is doing inside Lebanon. This video is showing real-time strikes that are happening on Israel. There have been hundreds of munitions that have flown out of southern Lebanon today toward Israel. So far, no word on damage or deaths or injuries. I'm just going to leave this Tzofar app up right now because you can see what's happening down there. A lot of these munitions are coming from southern Lebanon and even central Lebanon and flying further south than they have been for some time. So they are threatening areas south of Haifa. They're threatening the Galilee, all the way to the northern edge of the Sea of Galilee, and there is a lot happening. You can go to chuckholton.com. You can see the videos of the results of some of these strikes. I'm only showing videos that are showing results inside Lebanon because for operational security reasons, we want to be careful about showing immediate results of what is happening inside Israel. But from what we're hearing, so far, the Iron Dome system is doing its job. Many of these munitions are not falling in populated areas. So according to reports, this is the first time that many of these types of munitions have been fired out of Lebanon. We've been looking at a couple of these. Fadi 1 and Fadi 2 missiles, which are larger than what we've seen fired out of Lebanon to date. The Fadi 2 missile has a 375-pound warhead. A 375-pound warhead is enough to take down an entire apartment building. That will leave a pretty serious crater. The good or bad thing, depending on how it hits, is that these things are not guided missiles. They don't have a GPS system. I don't even think they have an inertial system. I think they're just point, fire, and forget. So they just aim them at Israel in general. The circular air probable, which is the range that they might strike within, is something up to 1 kilometer from where they're aimed at. And so the thing is, if they're firing these at heavily populated areas, which apparently they are, all they have to do is get close. When you got a warhead that's 375 pounds, close is good enough to cause a lot of damage and hurt a lot of people. But the Iron Dome system, I think, can prioritize these larger munitions and take them out. It's not that they are completely harmless if the Iron Dome system takes them out. I want you to understand how the Iron Dome works. It's like a shotgun round that gets fired up into the sky, and as it approaches, it will track onto this incoming missile when it's in its terminal phase, and the Iron Dome system goes up to meet it. And when it gets close, it fires these projectiles that cause it to detonate in the sky. And so then the only danger that exists at that point is from falling shrapnel. These Fadi 1 and 2 missiles are about 20 feet long and about a foot in diameter. And like I said, just the warhead on it is 375 pounds. The entire device is quite a bit more than that, something over 600 pounds. And it certainly could ruin your weekend if it landed on your head, if you're walking down the street, or if it landed on your car, that would be a bad day. If one of these strikes, however, and the warhead detonates, then you're talking about orders of magnitude greater damage. And that is what the Iron Dome system is meant to avoid. This is all south of Haifa and west of Nazareth. that this has just happened in the last few minutes. So the people in northern Israel have had to stay very close to their shelters. Over the past day, the IDF, Benjamin Netanyahu, Daniel Hagari, all of the normal players here have been making very clear that it's time for this to come to an end in Lebanon, and that they are going to do what's necessary to end it. Hezbollah started it, the IDF is going to end it. I want to read for you some of what Benjamin Netanyahu had to say. For those who have not yet understood, I want to clarify Israel's policy. We do not wait for a threat. We attack it. Everywhere, in every arena, at any time, we eliminate senior officials, eliminate tangos. I'm going to call them tangos from now on instead of terrorists. It's only the beginning. Whoever tries to hurt us, we hurt him even more. I promised that we would change the security balance, the balance of power in the north. This is exactly what we are doing. We destroy thousands of missiles and rockets aimed at Israeli cities and Israeli citizens. We are facing complex days. I ask you, citizens of Israel, for two things. First, to obey the directives of the Home Front Command. It saves lives. And secondly, to stand together with determination, responsibility, and of course, patience. Right now, just talking about what's happening in Lebanon, between Lebanon and Israel, because what we're looking at, folks, is the third Lebanon War, okay? There's basically no question about this. Now, we are not hearing reports of troops on the ground yet inside Lebanon, as far as Israeli troops. We're not seeing IDF troops going into Lebanon just yet, but what we are seeing is shaping operations, preparing for that to happen. Backing up to Operation Grim Beeper, and then going from there to the second wave of those attacks inside Lebanon. What that did is that made it impossible for Hezbollah leadership to coordinate with each other electronically. So they had to get together face to face. And then the IDF struck the place where they were meeting and took out about 16 senior commanders, including the number 2 guy in Hezbollah at this point. And Hezbollah is in complete disarray. Now that they have their enemy on the back foot, he's in shock. Now is the time to go hard against their enemy and actually take them out. So maybe that's what we're seeing now, this very large operation with just constant sorties, warplanes from Israel going into Lebanon and taking out hundreds of rocket launchers, thousands of rockets. And if they can take out the launchers, they can render a lot of those missiles basically worthless. So apparently, Hezbollah has been paying people to allow them to store these munitions inside their house. So paying them rent to build their house in such a way that it hides a giant 20-foot missile. But in this case, the IDF is putting out that we are going to take out these buildings that are hiding munitions in them. And so if you are in those buildings, it's time for you to go somewhere else. Now, another thing that they announced is that this meeting that was taking place where they smoked 16 Hezbollah commanders a couple days ago, actually what they were meeting about was how to invade Israel in another October 7th style attack. Hezbollah has been very well funded. They've been getting hundreds of millions of dollars, even from the United States every year, and indirectly. And they've been putting that money to use, digging very deep, very well camouflaged tunnels. We cannot win a war using only aerial munitions. You just can't. And Hezbollah is finding that out. But the number of these tubular complaints that Hezbollah has, if they were able to fire all of them at, let's say, Haifa, just one city, they could decimate that city pretty well. The problem is most of those are not precision-guided munitions. And so they can shoot them in a cardinal direction, in this case, south, but that's about it. They just throw them at Israel and hope for the best. But what they're finding is that now a lot of these munitions are falling in the open areas, and they're starting forest fires and brush fires, and that's bad, but they're not creating widespread disaster among the built-up areas. But so far, we've not heard much in terms of any deaths or injuries. There have been lots of reports out of Lebanon of text messages and phone calls even in Arabic saying, if you're in these areas, leave now because the area you're in is about to become an active war zone. This is happening live as we speak. These are munitions coming in on northern Israel right now. If you haven't been watching the Shofar app for a long time, each of these red zones is not where something is striking. It's where the Iron Dome system has determined that these areas may be in danger of something striking in the next few minutes, okay? You can see them continuing to update in real time as these munitions are fired out of Lebanon. This is happening in real time, like I said, and the radar system that they have in Israel is watching these launches coming out of Lebanon, and it's calculating the trajectory of the missiles and then deciding what areas might be affected by them if they make it to their target. The silver lining is that every one of these alerts is one less munition that Hezbollah has to threaten Israel with. Then the IDF can go in on the ground and their troops will be safer and the people will be safer, and they'll be able to really focus on going and holding territory. That's what they're going to have to do to win this thing. Okay, so that's all I've got, folks. God bless you. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned.